Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rotors. Slightly different format now. This time, we're going to do things a little bit differently, a little bit more chatty, a little bit more general information, and more about you guys and less about the special people in this world. But having said that, we have still got Rachel with us, and Kev as well, obviously. So, and with that, Kev, how you doing, matey?
Good, mate. Good. Bit of a hiatus from us. Just while we got heads into gear and sorted out what we are going to do. But no, yeah, good. It's good to be back. Been doing a load of flying, load of night flying. I'm into it again in a big way now. Oh, but yeah, good to be back. I mean, I believe you've got a new heli again now.
Yes, I have my new hat as well. Obviously,
You've got a new hat.
You were all wrong. It's not a T-Rex 500 at all. It is
No.
my new hat.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Align hater would never have an Align heli. No.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've always loved Align. They're brilliant. But I've seen an awful lot of night videos coming out of you over on Google Plus and YouTube. You've been doing an awful lot of that recently, haven't you?
Yeah, basically the club chairman, Tim Critchley, has decided it's now law that you've got to have a night fire helicopter, which, to be honest, I don't care. I love it.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I had 15 flights on Sunday, 10 were at night time.
Yeah, that's a lot of night flying.
And bear in mind, I was at the field at 10 to 10 in the morning. So 5 flights until it went dark, and then 10 at night. But
yeah,
I love it. I mean, I fell foul to the edge tail blades being out of dynamic balance, and it sort of blew up the back end of my T-Rex 700. You would not believe the mess just a single blade spinning around will do to the back of a helicopter. It just mullered everything. I've never seen it. It was like an atomic bomb had gone off. It was everything from the horizontal fin backwards was shagged. It just all had to go in the bin.
It is scarily crazy just how much energy is back there. You get a little bit, you lose one tail blade, which weighs 30 grams or something.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much how much damage it does. It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean it was just scary. I mean, I landed the heli and I autoed it down, landed it, no problem, no damage anywhere else. Just the back end just looked like a mini nuclear bomb had gone off and killed it all. Horrible. But yeah, no, all fixed and flying by the next day because I had pretty much all the parts in stock. One of my mates had to bail me out with a boom, just saved me having to travel all the way to Fastlands or Midlands to get a boom. But no, yeah, really loving the night flying. And my monitor's just gone off. But yeah, no, love it. I'm really into it again now.
I did a fair bit back in the day, and the biggest problem we had back then was the only real blades available were the MS Composite ones, and they were a bit floppy and a bit grabby, and kind of detracted slightly from the enjoyability of flying because they weren't particularly nice blades to fly. What are the blades like these days?
Well, I've got Radix on, and to be fair, they fly just like daytime Radix. There's absolutely no difference, I don't feel, in the flight characteristics. Tony, he's got T-Rex 700 as well, but he's got MS Composites on his, and he says it's just woolly and fluffy and horrible. So I think he'll be getting rid of those very shortly. One of the club members, he's doing his own little line in hand-built night blades. He's done himself some for his 450, and to be honest, they do look absolutely amazing. He's done it quite cleverly, actually. You know where the head button goes on the top? He's stuck a little 2-cell LiPo on there, actually on the head button, so he just spins it into where the head button goes and just like nips it up and just plugs it into the blades from there. So it's completely mass centralized and no imbalance or anything. It's really, really cool. So
I think that's how Angelos did the 3D Master Blades back in sort of 2007-ish, I think it was, which we actually had the night writing on the bottom of the blades, and he did a similar thing with the LiPo on the head button. So as soon as you start moving away from the head button, then the forces get as we were saying a minute ago, get quite astronomical quite quickly. So
Yeah.
it's that's quite cool. That.
Yeah, I mean the Radix are the same as the Edge. They've got those little battery pack underneath, and it's right by the bolt. But like you say, the further you go out, the more of an effect it has. So yeah, no, it's really clever how he's done it. I am getting some Night Magics very very shortly. Some of the full color ones, so they'll be being kept nice and safe until special appearances.
I mean, what are you using for the bodies and stuff now? I mean, we used to use the light rope, which was a little bit finicky sometimes. The junctions would sort of corrode and fall off and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is the night rope is a bit pants. I'm just using LED strips. I got them from that shop that we are not allowed to name. The one was like something King. But yeah, it's like LED strips. There's 3 per. I'm just looking now. There's 3 per every 2 inches. 3 LEDs every 2 inches. It's like a self-adhesive strip, and you just stick it on. Solder 2 wires onto a battery dish. Done. Easy as that. And you just plaster your heli in them, and jobs are good.
Nice. Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, and the cheap as well. It was like I think it was like £2 a meter or something like that. So to light the whole heli was about 20 quid. And this is
not bad.
This is a 700 now. If you were going to light a 450, it would probably cost a £5. You know.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. Anyway, right. I'm going to move on because there's other people here as well that we all want to talk to, and I'm going to go to Rachel. Hello.
Yay. Hiya.
Introduce yourself, Rachel. Who are you? For those that that might have been living under a rock and don't know who you are.
Oh, I've no idea. No, I'm Rachel. I'm just a sport pilot. Simple as that, really. Just get around a little bit.
You're a sport pilot that does competitions.
Well, I come last in a lot of competitions, yeah.
You're still a competition pilot.
I guess so.
It still counts. It's still a badge that's worth wearing. I think it's it proves that you don't have to be Alan Szabo. Actually, Alan Szabo doesn't even compete. You don't have to be Duncan Osborne to do a competition. There are grassroots competitions all over the world, aren't there?
Oh, there are, yes, yeah, that's for sure. As long as you don't mind coming at the bottom, it's great. And I don't mind. That's fine.
Hey, but at least other people can be happy in that the competitions you're going to, the chances are they're not going to be last. So, that's even more incentive for them to compete, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Till I beat them, and then they feel really bad.
Oh no, come on! No, I mean, competition flying is a really good way of improving your skills, isn't it? It puts some focus on your flying.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot with the F3N this year. Julie Fisher's been running that, and that's been quite amazing. That really does sharpen your flying up, and it's a good environment too. It's a good competition to get started in. So that one's definitely worth a whiz.
I've never sort of tried my hand at F3N. I'm a bit more 3D based. But what's the deal with F3N? How does it differ from the 3D stuff and F3C?
Well, it doesn't really differ that much actually now, because it's a set manoeuvres round, same as most 3D competitions. Then you'll have a freestyle round, again same as most 3D competitions, and then you'll have a flight to music round. It is based, I suppose, a little bit more on set manoeuvres, but it's still right up there with the 3D. It certainly seems to be the way 3D's going. It's the most prominent competition in the UK now. It's got more rounds than anything else all over the country, so I think it could be the up-and-coming one, to be honest.
So you think sort of F3N, is where 3D is going? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it certainly seems to be in the UK, because there isn't a lot else other than that, is there really? We've got the champs, we've got the 2 fun ones, we've got Air and Heli Fest, which I like immensely, the pure music ones. But as far as a true competition goes, I suppose F3N's seems to be the way it's going. And, even the champs is a very similar format to that, so there's not a huge difference in it. Some of the manoeuvres are a little bit different, but they're all based around the same thing, really. So,
is there sort of more basis on sort of accuracy and precision and timings and that sort of stuff?
oh, not from
3D.
me. Yeah, I'd expect that there is actually, yes. But a lot of it's the same judges. In fact, there isn't a huge amount of difference that I could sort of put my finger on. It's a lot better though in the fact that it's more nurturing. We get feedback from the judges after a round. You get individual feedback from everything from set manoeuvres to your music flights. It's all very open. You get your scores. You actually see the scores the judges have written down, and there'll be comments on those scores, which are a great help, even if it's from Jace Platts, because he tends to write Egyptian, but it's cool. I've learnt to decipher his writing now, so we're all good. But yeah, it's a great format. It really is. And a couple of classes in that. They've got they call it a sports class. Well, I'll be honest, I wouldn't call it sports. It's probably nearer intermediate than sports, but they've got that, and then they've got the pro, which is obviously the Stu Smiths and the Duncan Osbornes, and I suppose at the bottom of pro we've got people like Russell Cleavers coming right up into pro now. He's progressing really nicely. So
is there how many rounds are there of F3N per year over
well,
the
we've done. I think it's 5 this year. It was planned for 6, but we lost one due to bad weather. That was the first one. We've done 5. I think I did 4 out of the 5. But you do as many as you want. Some people only did 1. It's entirely up to you what you do.
So over the season, does it become a championship over the season?
It does, yes. Yeah, I think you've got to do a minimum of 3 rounds to count in the actual league. They call it a league, not a championship. I don't know what the difference is. Yeah, I don't know what the difference would be. Seems the same thing to me, but
it is basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's what they do, and it's really well run. I mean, as I say, Julie Fisher runs most of it. Obviously, Dave helps out and competes in it. Dave Fisher, so it's just a great, friendly format. Lots of spectators. You can have a fly between the rounds if you're not competing. It's just a nice, really friendly setup. Everybody helps everybody else. Nice. So we have a great time, and I think there's been a few articles on that in Rotor. I'm trying to think which one it is now. Rotor World, isn't it?
Yeah. Name both of them just in case people aren't aware.
Rotor World and the other one.
Model Helicopter World is the other one.
Helicopter World, that's the one. Yeah. I should have got a copy here, but no, I haven't got anything. So, but that's been doing really well.
Yeah.
It sounds like
yeah. Sorry, guys.
Pretty cool. Sorry, Kev.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't you also do an article about the F3N for Quiet and Silent Flight or something? With
QF International or something like that, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we did. Just on the electric helicopters. I wrote a little bit for them, and Russell Cleaver did the pictures and the captions, and I think that's in this month's actual magazine. I'll be honest, it's not one I really buy. It's, you could end up buying magazines till the cows come home, but it was nice to write something for them, and I think they liked it, so we'll see what people think of that. But that was about F3N and F3C, because that was great. When we did the Nationals, the BMFA Nationals, we got to fly with the F3C guys as well. Your Mark Christie's and Steve Roberts and Ian Erskine, these sort of people. And it's a tremendous skill in its own thing. But, these F3C guys, they just want to do a pyroflip, really. They're so fed up of doing those stall turns. You can see they want to let go. And they don't crash. What's that about? How can you fly and not crash?
It's because they fly too high. They fly at 300 feet. They fly. You can't crash from 300 feet.
Well, one guy had a tip over, and I did feel for him because I thought he was going to cry. Bless him. He put a scratch in his fuselage when it tipped over, and it was like, oh my God. I'm like, I've just assassinated mine. There's bits of it all over 3 counties. What are you bothered about that for? But I think they're quite proud of their kit, to be honest. But it's all good.
So, if somebody wanted to take part in F3N. How would they go about doing it? Where's all the information? What's the website?
There's an F3N site obviously on Facebook. So just put in F3N and you'll come up with that. And obviously they've got their website. I think it's to do with the AHA. So there's something on the BMFA website about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Total lack of preparation there, but that's where you can find it. Like everything, to be honest, on Facebook really these days. Sorry, Adrian. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Right. So, I mean, we've just touched on there about the British scene, the F3N and everything. I mean, you actually went over to the Bulls Smackdown, the Bulls competition in Spain. How does their event compare to like a UK event?
It's damn hot. I'll give it that. But they're just it's a different format. They're just nicer people. Totally different sort of thing. They run something over there called Rotor Play, and it's basically 3 separate competitions within one competition, but the 3 don't add up to the whole, if you like. In other words, you pick what you want to do. If you want to do the Nitro Cup and just fly Nitro, or flight to music, or freestyle, you can fly in all 3. But there's no overall winner. It's just class winners, if you like. But that's great. Dusty, it's nice to go to these places and see different environments and meet different people.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a hell of an event. It was amazing. You know, it was just 3 days of top fun.
Cool.
As I say, nice people. So, but a different, very, very different format, like nothing you've ever seen.
Right, and now you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with this one now.
No, I've absolutely no idea.
How the hell does one fly into a mountain, Rachel?
Well, to do it with style and panache like I did, it takes a lot of skill, because that was beat perfect. That was the way the beat was showered off the mountain. It was cool. I think it got a good cheer, but I don't know. They just put the bloody thing in the way. It's a stupid place to put a mountain. I mean, I ask you, who wants a mountain in a flying field? It's just ridiculous.
How inconsiderate.
It was really rude, actually. But we're going to move it for the 2015 one, so there's going to be no mountain issue. They were on about having the sea, but I'm not keen on that either. Might have to fit floats or something.
Yeah, you'll be doing an Andy Johnson and have to go swimming for it again. Yeah,
Did he go swimming?
Yeah, he put one in Western Park, didn't he? Andy Johnson put it in the lake.
Did he? Oh, cool.
Yeah, by helicopter.
Yeah, it probably did. But there you go. But yeah, let's bring somebody else in. It's not all about me.
Yep.
Moving swiftly on, I was about to say, Dan, one of our probably most accomplished listeners. If you'd like to unmute yourself. Hello, Dan. Nice to actually finally talk to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my English is bad. I come from Hungary. I live in Watford. I enjoy flying helicopters. I started flying 1.5 years ago. I do all of the mistakes what you can do. So I bought a Quax helicopter, big one, and I just walk after the wind. And at the moment, I'm very happy. I'm changing some things in my life, and I just surprised myself with a new helicopter plus a new transmitter. So my new setup will be a new DX6 and the Forza 450. And I enjoy watching you guys. I met with Nick in the air competition a couple of months ago. I watched the Rotors shows for the last 4 months now. And I saw Connor Sloan here, and after I met with him in the field in Milton Keynes and in the other competitions. So it's I enjoy this community, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
What helicopters do you fly?
At the moment, I have Align 250 SE with the flybar, and I just built my new Forza 450. Plus, I have a Nano QX.
Ah, yes, you can't beat a little quad.
It's awesome inside in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great fun. Great fun. Cool, excellent. Well, I mean, it's good to see you on here, and I'm sure you've got some questions later on. So what I'm going to do is going to run through with the other guys, and see to have a chat with them, and then I'm going to open up to questions, and then we have got a couple of questions on the Q&A as well, and then we'll open up and have a good chat about. I mean, I'll have a good chat about this T-Rex 500 that I've got. It's an interesting bit of kit. It's the first line that I've built in about 6 years, so it's nice to have a sort of. It's nice to see where they've gone with it. But anyway, so next person, Dave. One of the CPO Hangout regulars. Good to see you.
Hey guys.
all the way from America. I'd like to say that the time that it is over there is a lot more sociable over there for you than it is for me on the CPO Hangout, which is at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, I can imagine.
It's about 4:30 there, isn't it?
Actually, where I'm at right now in Boise, Idaho, it's about 20 after 2 in the afternoon. So I've been traveling a lot. So last Heli Hangout I did with Chris, I was in Houston, Texas, and this one falls on when I'm on a trip and I'm in Boise, Idaho, and it's normally where I live right now. It's probably 21 degrees Celsius, and right now it is -9 Celsius outside. It was quite a smack in the face when I got off the plane. So it's really cold here.
So have you been doing much flying then?
You know, I just built a Blade 550X, which I really love, but ever since I finished building it, I really haven't had a lot of time. So no, I haven't done a lot of flying. However, a few days ago, I received a nice discount coupon in the mail, and I happened to be walking through a Hobbytown store, and I thought, you know, I need something small I could just take and fly in the hotel with me. So I grabbed the Nano QX because with my discount card and some other cards that I had, it was like next to nothing out of my pocket. And I'm really surprised with how well of a flyer it is. You know, at least indoors. I'm not taking it outside in any wind or anything.
Is that the really, really little one that's the PCB with some bits of plastic on it, the tiny, tiny one? Or is that the same as what Daniel's got?
Yes, it's the same one that he was just showing up there a second ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not one of the new Ultra Micros, but it's pretty small. In stability, it has 2 flight modes: stability mode and agility mode. Stability mode, it's very tame, it's very nice, very, very manageable. In agility mode, it's just nuts. It's a handful.
Does it still self-level?
Yes, it does. In stability mode, when you flip it in agility mode, it feels like it just turns off everything, and you're on your own.
It becomes a bit more like a helicopter.
Yeah, you need to try outside, and after you can do flips. But the things what I love in they don't have a built-in click flip, so you need to do it yourself. But it's awesome. And the funny things, you do the flip, you lose the control, one switch, going back to stability mode, and they self-leveling. So you can save it with one button. So
yeah, I haven't tried to flip it yet, but it's obvious that thing will probably flip in a very small space. So it's great for hotel rooms or oftentimes if there's nobody in the hotel lobby or very few people down there, I'll go and fly in the hotel lobby. So you know, keeps my thumbs in practice. So that's really all I've been able to do lately. Hopefully I'll be getting back home tomorrow, and I'll be home for a while. So assuming weather cooperates, I'll be able to take the 550 out and do some more flying outside.
Cool, awesome. Right, moving swiftly on now. I'm gonna come to Runes last because he's got some. We had a little chat with him last night off air, and he's got some really, really interesting bits of kit on his shelf that I want to talk to him about. So I'm going to come to you last, if that's okay, mate. And I'm going to go to Lee. Hello, Lee. Our friend in Spain with the nice weather, perfect flying weather all year round. and doesn't really do much work, it seems, and just flies all the time.
Well, sort of.
Sum it up quite nicely.
I wish I was working a bit more, because then I could afford more helicopters. At the moment, I'm just making sure I don't crash my Goblin, because I can't afford to fix it at the moment. But as you said, it's nice to be talking at a sociable hour instead of 3 o'clock in the morning for me.
Yeah.
You're right. 2 o'clock in the morning, that's no problem. 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and Lee is another CPO Hangout veteran. He's CPO does that every 2 weeks, by the way. It's just a bunch of guys get on a call like this, just want to hang out, and they have a good old natter for a couple of hours. It's 2 o'clock in the morning UK time, or 9 p.m. EST, I believe. Every couple of weeks. Just go and follow him on everythingcpo.com. It's a good. He does some really nice videos as well, builds and stuff. It's a bit more general, but yeah, he's a good bloke and he does some really good quality work as well. And so, Lee, what models have you got then? You mentioned the Goblin.
Yeah, I've got the Goblin sitting here right next to me. I've been flying it today, the 570. Just love it. Absolutely love it. It's an amazing model. I thought I'd get some flying in today because you might think that I fly all the time, but the problem we have here is it gets seriously windy. I mean, that's why I live. That's why I live here, because I'm a professional kite surfer. So we want the wind for that, but unfortunately, it stops me from flying a lot of the time. And I think the wind's coming back tomorrow, so I got in as much flying as I could today.
Okay, so basically, what you do is, if it's windy, you work.
I work.
And if it's not windy, you don't work.
I fly.
You fly helicopters.
That's basically my life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know how you survive. I really don't. Living in Spain, beautiful weather all the time, and then you either work or you fly. And the weather dictates, and you just do whichever. Did you just say that you do kite surfing for a living?
Yeah, that's my job. Yeah.
Is that teaching? Is it?
It is now. Before I was a professional windsurfer as well, and I was a professional snowboarder. I used to go backwards and forwards between the summers and the winters. So for snowboarding was my main thing. I was British champion for snowboarding a long time ago. But yeah, that's all I've ever done really since I left school is professional sport. So.
Is anybody, getting any hate towards him at the moment? There's no jealousy anywhere. It's there.
I'm a nice person. So yeah, I've got a walk that doesn't really look very together at the moment. I was just putting it together after a crash the other day, and I found I had a strip servo. Well, stripped. I broke one tooth. One tooth.
Always the way.
So I had to order some gears from the only place I could find them from was a shop in the US. And the gears, I should say, the gears arrived today. They sent me a whole new servo.
Oh, nice.
So I paid for the gears. I think I paid $11, and they sent me a brand new servo. So you can't complain at that, can you?
No, that's pretty good. Where did that come from? Where did you get those from?
I think it was from Power Hobbies. Oh. I don't know if they'd run out of stock and they just thought, well, we'll send him a servo because he's already paid for it. But I just opened the pack and I was very surprised.
Fair dues.
Well, you can't argue with service like that, can you?
Yeah,
that's pretty neat. That's good.
And I almost missed your show because I was in the middle of building what else I got today, which is I got 2 new mini copters.
See, that's the other thing I need to talk to you about. I want this whole FPV kind of pylon racing lark.
Yeah.
Is very, very interesting to me. It's where FPV needs to be, because I mean I like watching the aerial video stuff, and the views you can get from that. It's very you can't do it with anything else. And it's great, and I love watching it, but it's not something I personally find interest in doing. Whereas the quad racing, it reminds me a lot of doing the slope pylon racing back in the day with the gliders. When you're 3 or 4 up, 3 or 4 people on the same course at the same time, vying for position, getting the corners right, and just trying to get ahead of the guy in front. And that sort of thing is very interesting to me, and I can see that going somewhere with the current, with the way the regs are at the moment. It's something that is possible to push forwards without hitting sort of massive roadblocks with safety and regulations from the CAA and everything else. It's FPV is a bit tricky at the moment, and if we push the hobby, if we push the 250, the small quads, the racing side of things forwards, get that sort of recognised, then I can see that doing the hobby and FPV in general a world of good, and it looks like great fun too.
Yeah, behind our beach we have a pine forest, and that's where I fly through there, and you can't get any closer to being on a speeder in Star Wars than doing that. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. There's a video on YouTube actually, which is exactly that. They're all lit up, and they've got lights, all over them, and it just looks kind of like very, very Star Warsy, flying through the trees. It's like, that looks cool. I like that. That looks great.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but there is actually a couple of videos going around from the States in Vertex racing. That looks pretty cool. Pylon racing with Invertex, so I might stick a camera on ours and give it death. See what happens.
No, it's the models themselves are pretty cheap, aren't they? How much? What's the airframe in terms? Just sort of motor, speed controller, and that's the gubbins, just the bit to get a flyable model. What are we looking at for one of those?
This one comes from a company called My RC Mart, and it's the H250 RCX. I've got 3 versions of it. This is the full 3K carbon. The one I got first is a carbon composite, so it's just top and bottom surface of the plates are carbon, and that one was $16. I was going to try and make one myself, and then I saw the price of those and thought, well, what's the point? $16, just get like 5 or 6 of them, smash them into the ground, and replace them. So I've just
cost more than that for the carbon sheet, wasn't it?
Well, exactly, because I have a friend here who has a CNC machine, and I could, if I wanted to, cut out any frames I wanted, but to buy the carbon was way more expensive than just to get it, one of these. So as I said, I just got 2 arrived today because another friend of mine, he wanted me to build him one, so I'm doing that one now. And I just finished. Well, it's not helicopters or multicopters, but I just finished a plane today, which lasted 2 seconds.
Good man. That's what we like to see. Killing them one at a time.
Yeah. So it's been an eventful day.
Cool.
So what about the? So that's the basic airframe flying with the controller on it and the gyro and the speed controllers and that sort of pieces. What about sort of the camera and the downlink and goggles and that sort of thing? What are you using there, and how much does that sort of stuff cost?
Well, I didn't actually mention the cost of everything, but where I got this from, you can get everything you need to go for between $100, depending on what flight controller you get. But they sell a package for, I think it's $99, and it comes with everything. So,
that's about 60 quid, 65 quid, something like that. That's
up and flying. All you need is a receiver. That's it. So
nice. And does that support Spectrum and Fatah, the rest bus and JR and?
Yeah, it comes with a KK2 board. So yeah, you can plug whatever you want into that. So I decided not to go for that because I've been using OpenPilot for years, and I really like the software for that. It's really good, and it's a really nice control board. A bit more into it than the KK2. KK2 is very simple because it's got the LCD screen on it, so you can program it, land program and right on the spot. Whereas this, you have to either plug it into the computer or go through Bluetooth. But there's a lot more things you can do with this one. So as a beginner, I would expect the KK2 is a bit easier to use than this one. So it can get a bit fiddly.
So okay, moving on to the camera then.
Yeah, the camera gear. The cameras just for the FPV, so not talking about GoPros or anything. Just this, like the what do you call them, the sort of security cameras that go on the front. Yeah, they range from $16 up to $100, $120, depending on the quality. And it normally goes by like TV lines, so it's 600 TV lines, 700 TV lines for the quality. I use one from a company called Security Camera 2000, the PZ 04 something. I can't remember off hand, but it's about $50, and it seems to be the best. Yeah, the best all-round camera.
Rune's just showing us one there for us. Thank you, Runes.
Yeah, so that fits straight onto this. It actually comes with a plate with the frame that fits straight onto.
Cool.
And then I've got another camera from Get FPV that makes the QAV 500. That's a bit more expensive. That's about $70, but it's smaller, so lighter for using for the mini quads for FPV. For racing, obviously, you want as light as possible. So
yeah, so you don't need sort of HD quality or anything like that then on the download. There's no.
Well, you can't. There's no HD downlink anyway at the moment, apart from DJI.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing that's fast enough at the moment to be able to.
Cool. The data rates, yeah.
Yeah, to slow to pass the data down fast enough.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, apart from what's it called, the light. Oh, I forget. I can't remember anything tonight. The stuff that DJI is doing at the moment, that's the only one that does HD video. But
does it do that at a decent frame rate? Does it do the HD at a decent frame rate? So that's the thing. It's sort of.
Yeah, it can download to your iPad up to 4K.
Wow.
You're referring to the DJI Lightbridge?
Yeah, Lightbridge. That's it. They've got it on the new Inspire 1, which looks amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Right. I'd just like to remind everybody that this is a helicopter show, not a quad show, although quads do kind of count.
It's got rotors on it.
Yeah, I know, that's true. It has. Yes, indeed. But then
I was going to ask Rachel if I can one thing, because
yeah, go for it. Carry on.
I really wanted to go to that Bull event because it's only sort of 3 or 4 hours away. But unfortunately, that day I was working. But I'd like to go next year. So, but you've already said, Kev asked you, it was a good event then.
Oh yes, yeah, well worth going. So you'll have to turn up. Then you can beat me too.
I don't think so. But yeah, it's only about 4 hours away, so I'd love to go.
Oh no, I mean yes, it was a great event. Probably the best event I've been to this year. Certainly
Really?
the most sociable event. Yeah, it's you do an event in most countries, and the event finishes, and everybody sort of goes off into their own groups, does their own thing. Spain's totally different. You just stay as one group and go and eat together and party together. God, we even went karting till 3 o'clock in the morning one night. It's just the way it's done. Totally different atmosphere. And even though I don't speak a word of Spanish, and some of the Spanish there didn't speak any English, it didn't matter. We just had the best time.
It's amazing what you can do with sign language.
Sure it is.
Wave your hands around, it's fine.
Yeah, that's all. They wave their hands around here. That's all they do. So.
Yeah, I just smile. It's the easiest thing. Smile and nod. It's fine. But no, it's a seriously good event, and I think it's only going to get better. Hopefully, we'll drum up a few more of the European pilots, and having said that, it'd be nice to have some really big names there. But it's also nice to just have anybody there, as in like the normal pilots. I'm very much for that. Everybody thinks it's always got to be the Nicks and the Duncans and everybody else. It hasn't. There's a lot of pilots there that make up the names and have a lot of fun. So we may as well all share it. That's for sure.
Well, that's me. I'm the normal pilot, so I'll book the date for next year.
Yeah, me too. I don't know where the hell I got my line jacket from, but yeah, just a normal pilot. That's fine.
So,
well, I'll see you there then next year.
Please do, yes. Yeah, keep in touch, and you can give me a lift, because it was darned expensive walking all that way.
Cool. So who organises the Bulls? Is it Dave Dinkmans and Raquel?
That's right. It's their event, so it's the Area 51's their shop, Area 51 RC, and they organised it. They and their parents just worked so hard putting it all together. It was at a club which was, don't ask me the name, but it was basically an aircraft club, and they sort of, I don't know whether they hired it for the weekend or whatever, but the club didn't really seem to help them out at all, to be honest. It was all their own work, but they did a stunning job. I mean, everything we could want was there, from generators to the basics like water, because it's quite a hot place, so you want that sort of stuff. But it was just a really, really social, great fun event. So yeah, definitely my number one to go back to next year for sure. If I didn't do anything else, I'd go there.
Excellent.
So, and they say they found a field without a mountain, so rock on. Might actually get to the end of the flight next year, you never know.
Cool.
Right, now, the other person, another person that I had a little bit of a chat with last night, he just wanted to make sure that his camera and microphone and everything was working okay. And during that little sort of, turned into about an hour and a half, I think it was, of nattering, we myself and Kev got to learn quite a bit about roots. And
I mean, he is a top guy, this fella.
Yeah.
I think he's probably more into helis than me and Aid combined, and we're quite nerdy. So
no, we need to get the distinction between geeky. Thank you very much.
Yes.
The difference between geeky and nerdy. And so, Runes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 36 years from Norway. Some of you met me in RCHA last year. And helis has been a little obsession the last few years. And do have now 11 helis. And I think 4 of them are stock, almost. And the rest is customized, actually.
And how many of those are airworthy right now?
10.
10 are airworthy.
I do have one 500. That's actually the prototype frame that Hayden made for the Volt 500. He gave it to me when I was visiting last year. So I'm working on to put that one together. The tail and the boom, as I showed you last night, is finished. But the frame is not completed yet. But the rest of the fleet should be airborne. I do have a maiden for the last 1,000 left, but it's been spinning on the bench and seems to be working well. So when I have time, I will do a maiden for that one.
One of the frame we looked at first thing last night. The frame that you showed us last night. Can you just grab that for us and just show us what that? This thing is an absolute work of art. It is all air. There is nothing to it at all, and it's beautiful. There's nothing to it at all.
It's a little bit of alley and a couple of bearing holders.
Yeah. Now, on those who have got accuracy, there's a thing that you can switch called in the workshop called skeletal view. What that does basically is it takes off all the framework and leaves just sort of the motor and speed controller and servos and all those sort of bits. And there's just you can see the main drive gear and the main shaft, but there's no frame there at all. It just reminds me completely of that. You can't. It's just. It's beautiful. What do you think of that, guys? Is that just gorgeous or what?
Yeah, I like the design very well. It's thick aluminium sides and nothing extra. It's just what you need to keep it together and very stiff.
Is it? How does the weight compare to standard, to the stock frames? Is it a lot lighter?
I don't remember actually. I don't remember the weight from the V1 700 frame to the skeleton frame. I don't remember actually, but I think it was something around 4.6 kilos or something.
Yeah, it's light.
With the setup you see here. This is my 700. There you go.
That is beautiful, isn't it? I mean, it's just. Is it really, really easy to work on because you can get to everything?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. Everything is open, and it's just a canopy in the way.
Yes. Damn it! I have to take the canopy off to do something. Damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
I do equip all my helis with Scorpion motors, so I'm a very big fan of Scorpion. And mostly I use Castle ESCs, most for the logging feature, and they work very well. The burning feature, I'm not quite sure. People do something wrong sometimes. I've done that myself. So mostly I think I can blame myself for things that blown up.
Yeah, I've done a few dodgy soldering jobs myself, and as has been seen, lost a couple of connectors along the way and thrown a couple of models in doing it as well. But yeah, we all screw up sometimes.
Yeah, I've even had an ESC fire myself, and that was quite scary. Running to my goblin before it melted.
Okay, that looks quite large. What's that then?
That's my last 1,000 helicopter that's ready for a maiden flight.
Did you just say 1,000?
Yes, 1,000.
As in 1,000mm blades?
Yeah, the blades that's on are Saabs with 980, but I will do set it up with 1,000 blades that I have on the one I 2 seconds.
So what power system do you have in that then?
You can see this one has 1,000 blades. They're 9 centimeters wide.
90 mil cord.
So these are massive blades. This is 3D smack blades. I don't fly 3D, but you need the wow factor, don't you?
So what power systems are you running in those then?
The Skeleton 1000 do have a black V-bar.
Okay.
The old one. And the motor is Scorpion 5035 410 KV.
Alright, yeah.
And unfortunately, I do have Turnigy packs on it, but they will be changed out for haying. And I do have a flight power pack for the RX, and use the Commander 160 for the ESC.
Alright, so
what's the peak power of that then capable of? What's it capable of putting out power-wise, wattage?
When we were on RCHA last year, Nick Maxwell and Matt Botos did smack the Wolf 1000 to Hayden, and it had the same setup, and it did draw 94 amps.
Is that it?
No?
That was all. Almost nothing. Compared to the size, but you actually do smack it with plus minus 2-3 degrees, and then you have fully loaded the blades, and you have so much torque in this motor, and if you have some good packs, you don't draw any amps. Actually, I was quite surprised.
Right,
of course, because sorry.
What's the cell count, Runa? Is it 14S? Is it 16S?
No, it's 12.
12S?
Yeah, 12S.
Wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
But what we did find out with the big blades back last year was the head speed, keep it around 900,000. Then the blades works very well. They did fly it back there with I think it was 1200, and that was too much.
Alright, okay.
Do you just say 1,000 RPM?
Yeah.
1,000 RPM. That's wow.
Yeah, you can drop it down to 600. It's still stable, so it's not a problem. And with the saw blades, it starts taking off on 300.
Of course, it's incredible, isn't it?
Be able to watch them go round.
You can almost count the rounds.
You wouldn't need a taco. You could count it yourself.
Yes. Yeah, I can just imagine you stood at the field like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, no, I am absolutely astonished though when you say they're at 96 amps. I mean, my TX700, I've got the Scorpion world speed record in it, and I'm hitting peaks of 150, 160 amps.
Yeah, you got thinner blades. You got you need more RPM to keep the load up, and and your setup will basically take out more amps anyway because the motor need more because and the windings don't perform the torque that's in a 50 series.
Yeah, that's it. Mine's a, I think mine's 45, is it? 45, 25. Something like that. But anyway, but yeah, no, it's just amazing that how little amps it is drawing. So what sort of flight time are you getting on that? Obviously, with you only drawing low amps, you're going to have quite a long flight time.
With my flight style, I think you can take it up to almost half an hour.
And what size packs are they? Are they 5,000s?
Yeah, 5,000. I did have 8,000, but I did crash the other 1,000 early this year, so just one pack left, and that was into the 600, so balance it.
Pitching off the floor.
Yeah,
I'm happy at 4 minutes.
Yeah, but you and me have quite a different flight style. I'm in over and fly around, so and when I've done enough, and I'm back to the flips again. But I haven't flown for a while. I keep busy with the kids and home and stuff, so it's been a little time for the last couple of years, months.
Are there any videos on YouTube of the big models flying?
Yes, if you go to my YouTube channel, there should be a video of Nick Maxwell and Matt Rotors, I think. And I'm Runa SB1.
Yeah, we'll put a link to your YouTube channel in the event later, Runa.
Yeah,
okay.
And John Ruthven, Full Pitch UK, do also have some videos up.
Yep. Yeah, I know John very well. We had a good chat. We were having a chat for ages at Western Park in the dark the other week, and really, really nice guy.
Yeah, John is an amazing guy.
Yeah, and Hayden as well, the actual man behind Full Pitch over in Australia. He's again really, really nice guy, and I tell you what, he's really clever in what he does. I mean, there's pictures and videos going around of the stuff he's machined, and it is exquisite. The attention to detail, it's just seconds and on. You know, it's proper boutique helicopter stuff, like your really posh helicopters used to be back in the day. You'd pay $2-3 grand for top end kit, and Hayden's of that sort of quality, but not going to cost you that much. So
I'll show you the size of the 1,000 to the 600.
All right. Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah. You see it?
That's monstrous.
Like this, maybe.
Yeah, no, that is monstrous, isn't it? That's I mean that. To put it in perspective, I've got a turbine sat in my house that I'm currently sort of checking over for somebody, and it's and that's got 800 mil blades on it, and it weighs more than I care to think about, and and that's got 8 horsepower on the shaft, and that is a massive lump of helicopter, that thing. Mm-hmm. And but that, I mean, that's to add another 20 centimeters onto the blades of that. It's just immense. It's just huge.
I think the blades, if I remember right, they're about 1 kilo each, so they're quite heavy. If I remember right, don't take that for an answer, but something like that. They're quite heavy, actually.
Wow. So sorry, carry on.
But the flight time, I have a friend in Long Island, outside New York, that has 1,000. That's a 600 stretch actually, with the same blades, the white with the sub blades, 980, and he had a flight time of 33 minutes.
What's the world record? Does anybody know what the world record is for electric at the moment?
I don't have a clue.
I do believe Kasama UK tried to do it with the June 600, but they were just hovering. I think they got about half an hour. Ben, if you're watching, just send me a message how long you got flying. Ben Coulthard, another one of our friends in the UK scene. He's the man behind Kasama UK, and I'm sure it was about half an hour or so, but that was just hovering for about half an hour.
As far as I'm aware, you're better off doing circuits because of the translational lift. Everything gets a bit more efficient when you start flying forwards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Quite right there, guys. Timo Wentland did something a while back, and I think it was in excess of 2 hours. And I remember something being on Facebook that his thumbs were just so bruised from flying for 2 hours. Just circuits. He was just doing left-hand circuits. He got so bored. But that was with I saw some pictures of it. I'm sure it was a Logo 600, and they just strapped like a huge battery where the skids would go. But
yeah, that was it. Yeah,
like 2 hours.
Wow,
yeah. Crazy stuff.
Didn't the battery cost something like £1,000 or something stupid? Just this monstrous battery, just to try and get the world record. But
I honestly don't know. It's I just remember that being on Facebook a few months ago.
I remember it now. Yeah, I remember it myself. Yeah, but if these guys are getting half an hour on 5,000 packs, that's mental.
That's something to look into. I think that Runners. I think that's something to look into. Actually, I think you got a good chance there of going for the duration record if you're careful.
Yeah, the amp draw on Richard's 1,000 was I think he had 38 amps or something at the maximum. It was doing average about 20 or something. So it didn't pull any amps at all. And he had a Castle 8 amp. Yes, he actually 80.
80 amp.
Yeah. I just needed 160 for the wow factor, you know.
Yeah. My little X5 peaks out at just under 100.
Yeah.
It's at full whack. That's just to be pulling that little amp is pretty amazing feat of efficiency. Are they the blades? Are they fully symmetrical blades or are they flat bottom? Are they semis?
Yeah, they're fully symmetrical. They're 3D blades.
Okay. All right.
Well, but the saw blades I had on the Skeleton 1000, the 980 blades, they are asymmetrical, so they are not 3D blades.
Okay.
They do flex quite a lot. But these carbon blades, the big ones, they don't flex at all almost.
Cool.
I did crash in a big steel container with them in February this year, and the blade was hitting the edge of the steel container, and it didn't break. Not before the blade twisted up and hit the edge, then you get a scratch inside the blade.
Wow.
Other than that, they were fine. So they're very, very stiff.
Nice. Right, we have a. Moving on, we have a question from the audience, from Michael Van Zoen. What do you think about the Helimasters going back to Germany and leaving us in the Netherlands without a big heli event? Well, my first response to that is now you know what we felt like when we lost 3D Masters to the Netherlands.
Yes.
Kev, what's your thoughts?
It's just 3D Masters all over again, isn't it? I know there's been talk of he's doing it for economical reasons, and that's why he's going back to Munich. Because there wasn't there like 4 or 5 shows dotted all around Europe, and then the big one at Venlo, or something like that.
Yeah, there was quite a few of the little 3DXs, weren't there, that built up to it.
Yeah, Yeah, that was it. You got your 3DXs built up to it. You got your Helimasters over here. There's France, Germany, and that they all built up to the main event at Venlo, and now it's gone. It's gone to Munich now because I mean a lot of people have said that they were all planning on going Venlo next year. They'd already booked the holidays and or organised the holidays sort of thing. Not got everything in place, not paid and everything, but now it's all in Munich, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, we would have gone if it was in Venlo, but we're not going to go now. It's in Munich." It's just, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be reasons behind it. You know, it might not just be a case of always just ruining it and taking it to Munich. There's going to be legitimate business reasons behind it. You know, he wouldn't cancel all these events and just make it one for no reason. But yeah, it's got. I think it's just gone the same way 3D Masters has gone, and
I think comparing it to 3D Masters is probably a bit unfair. There was a lot going on in the background at 3D Masters to do, which was very, very financially based, and it bit him in the arse, quite honestly.
He did. That's why it's now Helimasters and not the 3D Masters anymore. There's a whole backstory behind that. If we talked about that, the show would go for about 6 hours. But no, with the demise, though, shall we say, of Helimasters in Venlo, does this open it up again for a 3D Masters, a new 3D Masters in the UK?
I think without knowing why they're moving it to Munich, it's a bit difficult to say, sort of, to really comment too much on it. As long as they're moving it for the right reasons, i.e., you never know, it might be a better venue. I mean, if you took, say, back in the day, there was a thing called Sandown over here in the UK, which was a racecourse, a horse racecourse. So they had the grandstands, and inside the grandstand was all the trade stands, so it was all undercover. There was an undercover viewing area, very much like Rotor Live over at where's Rotor Live?
Germany.
Germany. So if you had a kind of a building like that, with proper facilities, and then a decent flying site on it as well, because let's face it, I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever flown at a less than ideal location. Racecourses do not make good flying sites. There's bits sticking up all over the place to hit. Trust me, I've hit some. And and the ground is all beaten up because it's obviously had horses running over it. So it's not very nice to take off from or land on, and they have to do various things to make it a place that's sort of flyable. So if they had if the new venue has got a nice building on it and a nice flying site attached to it, then if the venue's better, then fair play for moving it. It's to move an established event like that to a different location is a big step.
Yeah, I mean, what do the rest of the guys think? Rachel, I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, 'cause you went to Venlo last year, didn't you? You were in Venlo.
Yeah, I've been to Venlo for the last 3 years. I've flown there for the last 2 years. I like Holland. It's a beautiful place. It's a nice place to look forward to going to. But I must say the last 2 years I've actually noticed the on-site attendance really dropping. I think a lot of that might be to do with live feed. So many people can just watch it online now and do so, that maybe he doesn't need the expense of going all the way to that site. Plus there were real issues with the site this last year, which was why the night fly got cancelled because of the weather. Apparently it's on a floodplain, and they were actually worried about people getting stuck there because it was forecast to be an amazing storm, which didn't actually happen. But so maybe he wants to move it somewhere where he knows the area a little bit better. I mean, my take on it is I was quite happy to go to Venlo. I'd be quite happy to go to Munich. I think we ought to give it a chance to see what happens. The bit that I think's a shame is it's only going to be one event. And that's always a bit sad because there's not really a lot in Europe now. The French are doing their World Cup, aren't they? But as far as I'm aware, that's only one event. So there's quite a hole that's left, and I do feel for the guys in the Netherlands because they're very enthusiastic about that event, and they're great people too. So who knows? Maybe somebody will take it over. There's quite a few people there that could do an event at Venlo.
Who are the people? I mean, obviously there's the main guy that runs it, and then
Christoph Dietrich.
Christoph, I think. And but who were the people on the ground, the workforce that sort of made it run? Was it a local club or was it his own guys from?
No, I think he brought a lot of his own guys in. There was Arnold, I can't think of his last name. He was at the Bulls. He was doing the sound there, and that sort of thing, all the mixing for that. It did seem to be a lot of his own guys, but equally there were a lot of local guys there. There was Jack and Frank there from the Netherlands. They were helping out, and lots of people helped out there. It was a well-established, organised event.
Yeah, I mean, it's every chance that the team will. It's every chance that the team will move with him, though, isn't it? I mean, it's at the end of the day, the location is one thing, but it's making sure that the event carries on running in the way it was intended to be run originally, and I think that's more important. And if they move it to a better site as well, then even better. And okay, some people have to go a bit further. Some people don't have to go as far. So what's better for some people is not quite as it's not as good for other people. But on the whole, I'm hoping it should be a step in the right direction, a step up, if anything.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, won't we? It is something like that. I mean, he did speak with me, and I spoke with him about it, and he was just saying that they were thinking of dropping the entry price. They wanted to do that. He likes it because it's near an airport, easy for people to get in and out. And he said it's not all about the money. I mean, I don't know his reasons for not having it at Venlo, but it's not about the money, it's more about the event, and he wants to see it get bigger. So, I think we should give him a chance and see what happens this year.
Well, in some ways, with the having if they're going to make it one bigger event rather than having, I mean, because this is the assumption that everyone's having by the looks of it, is that there's only one event now, and they're going to assume, and they've assumed that it's going to be Venlo, sort of in a different location. But what we don't know is, is there going to be pre-rounds? So rather than having all these different events dotted all over the place with their own separate crowds watching, if they can maybe that's what it is actually. They're going to try and attract everybody into one location for, instead of being a weekend, make it a week or a longer weekend, to try and sort of get everybody in one place at the same time, rather than lots of little events spread all over the place and only some of those people making the effort to travel to the main event.
Certainly, I think they should explore having, as we do in the UK, an open event, a fly-in for a day before and maybe a day after, because you know what it's like. You go to these events, you see people fly like that, and you want to have a go. And the problem with Venlo has always been, unless you're demonstrating there or competing, you don't fly there. It's as simple as that. So, it would be nice maybe if you ran a longer event with a bit more of an open flying atmosphere.
Maybe, if he does it right, it could be Europe's answer to Workshop. Now, wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Daniel, would you travel to Germany?
Yeah, why not?
It sounds like a laugh, doesn't it? What do you think? Have you ever been over there to Helimasters or?
No, I just attended the Air 2014. It's a White Horse flight field in the UK. Yeah. But I travel 3 hours just to get there. But I like this RC events. It's always fun. But I have a small helicopter, so it's hard to compete with the 450. By the way,
hey, friend of the show, Tamas Lavardi, he competed with a
Rotors 500.
500.
And he's
Yes.
Hungarian as well.
Yes, and he's finished in the first day with the 5th position and the next day with
Yep.
the 7th. And at the moment, he's supported pilot of Rotors HMS.
Yep, that's right. MSH, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and I think he made the logo for the Rotors.
Tamas designed our logos and everything for us. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dave, what do you?
Yes.
Sorry, Dan. Dave, what do you think of everything that's going on over here in Europe from a US perspective? What do you think of it all?
I don't know. It's interesting. To me, it sounds like they're just trying to, grow the event and trying to move it around and trying to, whenever you make changes, you generate interest. And when something sits for a while and it's the same over and over, it becomes stale. Then the only people that end up going, participating, or really generating any interest are those that are truly hardcore about it. If you want to draw in new, fresh people, oftentimes, unfortunately, the way to do that is to really change it up. And so maybe that's, the direction is to really change it up and try to keep it fresh and new. But I really don't know.
Yeah, Lee, what do you think? Would you make the journey from Spain up to Germany?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go. The problem for me is that summer is my working time, and especially weekends. That's when I make my money, so I can't really travel to places for long. I'm self-employed, so I'm just losing money if I do that. So for me, it's better in the winter, because from now until March, I don't do anything.
So what you're saying is, in the winter, you still have nice weather and you do even more flying.
No, not really. We do have bad weather here. It does rain a little bit. It rained last week.
Last week, for how long? An hour?
No, actually a few days, 3 or 4 days it was raining.
Oh wait, don't want to talk to you anymore. Rotors.
So I was going to ask you guys.
Oh, sorry.
Real quick. So from your perspective, would you guys say IRCHA is the heli event? Because from my perspective, sitting on this side, I always thought Heli Masters was very much on par, if not a bigger event than IRCHA.
Kev, why don't you answer this one? I'll let you go first.
From what I've seen, I would say IRCHA eclipses Heli Masters by about threefold, fourfold. From our link up that we did with Chris at IRCHA this year, the actual event is just so much bigger. There is definitely nothing in the UK that is that size or has ever been that size. I've never been to Venlo myself, but I do believe it is quite a large venue, quite a large event. But looking at our stream that we did with Chris, IRCHA is just beyond comprehension for us as a size. And yeah, we would probably say that IRCHA is probably the top of the helicopter shows, events, whatever you want to call it. I would say so, yeah.
Rachel, have you been to both?
No, I've not been to IRCHA yet, but I mean, of course, they're chalk and cheese, aren't they, really? Venlo is a competition, IRCHA is a demonstration. It's a different thing. It's more showing new models, showing pilots demonstrating, that sort of thing at IRCHA, but I hope to get there this year, but of course, the problem with a lot of these things is I'm self-funded, so if I want to go there, then I have to pay for it. It's as simple as that. So, it's a lot of money to find. But I'll do my best.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
It's sort of. I looked into the flights, and the flights were £1,400. So that's a lot.
And that's before you even think about packaging for taking your own models with you and all that sort of stuff.
That would be with taking the models. They're not actually that bad to take. Usually it's depends on who you fly with, but I I think to take them to Spain cost about £100, and it's pretty much the same wherever you go. You know, it's if you fly with an airline that takes golf boxes and you don't tell them what's in it, a lot of them don't even ask. I mean, I always tell them, but I know some people don't. But I don't know. Really... Sorry,
no,
you
go. Is there issues with batteries? Taking batteries with you?
Yes and no. There is, but I've always found that they really don't know that much. They're sort of looking at you for guidance, and I've just always take one set in the model in the case, and if you check the regulations, you're allowed to do that. It says one set in the device and one set in your carry-on luggage, and I've always done that and never had a problem. They're more bothered about the transmitter than anything. That usually sends them quite freaky when they see that on the scanner.
Yes, I can imagine.
when they find out what you're doing and what you're going to, they're usually that fascinated. They're not bothered at all. So it's not a hard thing to do. I just panic that they lose the case one day. Could you imagine that?
Yes, you'd want to be insured, wouldn't you? They'd want to make sure you had insurance to cover that stuff.
I don't think you can. When you look at the airline tickets and things, they pay so much per kilogram for a loss. And it's nothing like what the model helicopter would cost. So I don't know whether you could get your own insurance, but...
You just need to check the BMFA membership, because the insurance, if someone break into your house and stealing your helicopter, is covered. So I think they covered your helicopter too when you're flying. It's just a meeting with BMFA, and the insurance is covering a lot of things. If I crash my helicopter, nothing. But if they steal from my flat, they cover the helicopters.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, so it might be worth checking out your insurance and making sure everything's
yes, yeah, it could be. Yeah. But say IRCHA, I think IRCHA's definitely the world's biggest show, and it is a show. It's more about that, whereas Venlo's a competition. So. You know,
yeah, I'm just wondering if with Venlo, well, not Venlo, but when they move it to Germany, whether they're going to bring a sort of an element of, because I mean, at IRCHA they have the one competition, I think they call it.
Yeah, that's right.
They have the competition on the Saturday, don't they? And so I'm just wondering if they would sort of bring all these little events together and have sort of preliminaries, to qualify for the main competition over the weekend. And mix that in with a fly-in and demonstrate, more demonstrations and more trade stands and all that sort of stuff. I mean, how long is the flight line at Venlo from the trade stands? How long is it?
It's about a quarter of a mile. So it's not small, but it's not IRCHA, is it?
No. What's IRCHA? About a mile or something ridiculous? It's
I
massive.
think it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
If obviously you need a site to be able to have an event that size going. So maybe we might be seeing a nice little change to the European scene then. And I'm willing to think positively about this and go, yeah, this is going to be our step in the right direction and bring it all together into one massive great big event. I'm hoping. And Kev, I believe you have some news for us.
Oh yes, I mean just to prove that we are live and we're going out now. One of our readers, followers, viewers, whatever you want to call it, been contacting me while the show's been going on. You've probably seen me typing away furiously. TGRC Model Shop down in Weston-super-Mare. New shop that's just opened up. They deal with KDS Agile and seal blades and stuff like that. Basically, one of the part owners is probably going to be with us on the next show, a gentleman by the name of Ian Hans. And they've kindly offered to put up a set of 700mm Zeal blades as a competition prize.
Woohoo! Excellent.
Yes. So, on the next show, we'll be giving away a set of brand sparkling new 700mm blades.
Cool. So we're going to have to make a decision whether that's going to be before Christmas or after Christmas. So, early Christmas present or late Christmas present for somebody. Let's we'll bring you more news on that in the coming couple of weeks.
Yep.
Been hearing a lot of news about
Well,
these eel blades as well, haven't we?
Yeah,
They've been pushing them quite hard. Interesting to sort of hear some. Has anybody flown them?
I've not flown. I've seen them fly. I've seen Stevie Gerrard fly with them. Our own Helistig, Tom Owen, he's got a set of them, and they do seem to fly really well. But to be fair, those two could probably fly a brick better than most people. But yeah, they're loud. They are loud. There's a lot of noise off the blades, but they do seem really agile. I mean, Tom has his helicopter really agile to the point I don't think we could fly it. It's that agile. Seriously, mate, everything's turned up to 12. So I just final tap 11 is turned up to 12. And it's just really quick. And he even landed and says, "Wow, that's faster." So yeah, they do seem to be some really quick blades. But equally, people that I know, like Chris Poldervat, he's got them on his E700, and he says they're really stable and really efficient. So if they have got that balance between efficiency and stability and the 3D agility, it's going to be the perfect blade, and they're cheap as well. They're not very expensive at all, these blades.
Yes. What size are they available in? I remember when I was looking at them back around the time of Air, and there wasn't an awful lot of choice. I think there were sort of 600s and 700s, and that was about it.
No, they go right down to 325s now.
Do they? Oh,
cool. Yeah, they got 325s. They got 570s for the Goblin. Yeah, they got everything right up there, coming out with more all the time.
Awesome. That's what I like to see.
Cool.
It's nice to see new products on the system.
Yeah. I mean, part of the drive in the UK as well. Like I say, I've seen Steve flying them, but Harry Driscoll, he's their UK sponsored pilot as well. And he's been rocking them now for a good 6-7 months or so. And from what I can tell from his dad Mark, they've just been brilliant little blades for him. They've done exactly what he wanted them to do. Rachel, you were trying to get something in them?
Yeah, I was just going to say really that they're a stock aerofoil, aren't they? You can only really adjust balance and centre of gravity with that type of blade. I'm more intrigued with these new blades that are coming out, the things like the Helix and the Cyclone with tip design, and there's lots of things going on in that. I was lucky enough to try a set of Cyclones at the weekend. Somebody lent me a pair and I was stunned. And they've got a tip which allegedly displaces the turbulence of the blade out from the rotor disc, so that the blade coming into the path of that blade, the next blade, advancing blade, isn't going through as turbulent an air as you get with a stock aerofoil. And it certainly felt like that. It flew incredibly cleanly, very light. I was impressed.
So are they saying that they're pushing the vortex out from the tip or something?
That's exactly what they're saying. Yes, that the tip design is throwing the turbulent air away from the disc, so the advancing blade's not hitting the turbulent air.
Dave,
they look very interesting.
Yeah,
I agree. The Cyclones look very interesting to me.
So but I've got a set of those that came today, which are mine, so I can push them a little bit harder and give them a go and see what I think. But the initial go I had with somebody else's blade at the weekend, I was frankly staggered, and I think this is the way blades have got to go. It's the way they've gone on the full size, and we need to get the sort of technology that they're getting on those now. I'm not saying Zeal blades aren't any good. I'm sure they're fine. But I'm just saying they're older technology. It's about time we moved on.
Yeah.
So,
well, you don't know what they're doing with the section though. With the Zeal blades. Okay, they look like a blade, but there's subtle differences in the actual section can make quite a big difference to the way the model flies. I used to do a lot of glider flying, as you probably know, and section choice was the difference between something that floated around, and you, looking at it, you couldn't really see much difference. You know, they're all sort of fairly similar thicknesses, and profile looks very similar, but the models flew very, very differently. So yeah, I wouldn't write them off as being old tech quite yet. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful things they can do with the section.
Zeal, I've actually had on Facebook something called Zeal Energy. I believe that's a new line in maybe blade technology that they're doing. I don't know the full ins and outs because there hasn't really been that much announced on it. There's t-shirts and baseball caps to go with the Zeal Energy range. But as far as I'm aware, I think there is like a new technology of the blade coming as well, which is good to see. Like a new manufacturer, they've not been on the scene 5 minutes, and they are pushing development and stuff. But you've got to ask, how long before we get Burt blades?
But how are those blades compared to Nick Maxwell's blades? Those, I think it was the Helix or something.
Helix, yeah. There's a whole stack load of blades coming out, and thankfully they're not the. For a while we had a load of blades all coming out the same factory, and they were just a different badge on them, and to an extent. And it's good to see some different manufacturers and different bits and pieces coming out. But I don't think anybody has ever done a direct sort of massive blade test. You know, like sort of which they get all the toasters along and they go, hey, look, this toaster does this and this toaster does that, and you know, and they all just compare them side by side. I've never seen a blade comparison like that. That's something I'd be quite entertained to get involved with.
Adrian, you might find that on HeliFreak.
Have they done that? Have they? Yeah.
I just think they look cool, especially the coffin they come in, so you can bury them once you smash them up.
Yeah, that's quite cool. I did see that up at air. That was quite entertaining.
How many folks?
Velvet lined as well. It's perfect.
I could probably get the whole helicopter in that box. That would be very handy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, as I say, I don't know anything about Zeals. It's just that all this aerofoil technology appealed to me. I don't know why. I'd certainly love to try a set of Nick Maxwell's ones, the Helix, but you know, it's really interesting to see where this is going to go, and it can only be good for us if we can get blades that offer stability and agility all in one hit. Well, that's got to be good. You know, that's what we're after, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
There are limits to physics, though. That's the trouble. Sorry, Dave.
No, that's okay. One of the things that I think Zeal has going for is their marketing machine is really good. They're really good at reaching out to heli pilots and asking their opinion on you know, graphic designs on their blades, and they seem to change their graphics more often than I've seen anybody else. So they I think they give heli pilots sort of a feeling that they're more involved with the blades and the blade design because they ask them their opinion, and they, you know, something as trivial as the graphics that they'll put on a blade, and they'll change that, you know, relatively often compared to what I've seen other blades do. And I think that draws people into the whole marketing of the Zeal product line.
That says a little bit about where they're possibly not being manufactured, because for them to be manufactured in the Far East, generally speaking, I'm not saying these aren't manufactured in the Far East because I don't know, but for stuff to be manufactured in the Far East, you have to pre-order it a long way in advance, like months in advance, and order an awful lot of them, which then means that you can't easily tailor do the changes like Dave's talking about with the graphics. So it suggests that they're being manufactured in relatively small quantities in a factory that's not too far away from where they are.
Correct.
So it's, you know, it probably are it's a US-based company, isn't it?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so they're probably being hand manufactured in the States, which for them to be the price they are is quite impressive actually. So it's if you look at the previous sort of blades that were manufactured in the USA, things like the V blades, God, my wallet still cringes at the thought of V blades.
Well, it's actually Vic that makes the Helix for Nick Maxwell.
Yes. Although it's I believe it's a completely new factory and new people and everything. It's not really. Although Vic's involved in it, it's not the same manufacturing team, is it? Same factory.
I'm not sure on that, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's a V Blades thing, and it's V Blades prices. I mean, yeah, V Blades were the dog stanleys back in the day. They were, if you wanted a decent flying blade, you bought V Blades, but you had to get your hand deep in your pocket for them.
Yeah, tell me about it. They were like £100 or something for the 600s. That was.
Yeah.
But do you remember the Halo version with the holographic tape in the tips of them?
Yes.
I've got a picture somewhere of my old Knight 50 Pro with those shining in the sunlight. There's like a quarter of the disc, sort of in a nice halo. Oh, it's beautiful. But yes, anyway.
I've still got 1.5 of them.
Yeah, kind of need 2, unfortunately.
Yep.
But so questions from people. Daniel, have you got any questions for us?
Yeah. What is the difference? Because my Forza 450 coming with the 325mm blades. If I put a little bit bigger, because they can support around the 350, 358 maximum. So what do we they will be more stable, more agile, or just looks nicer?
They work. From my experience is they work better. You have a slightly lower disc loading, so you need less pitch for the same amount of lift, and that's the same for cyclic and collective. The downside is that you pull more torque, so you need a little bit more power. Yeah, less you use a bit more battery power because if you use the extra power that you get. So if you run the same blade pitch, so say if you go to 12 or 13 degrees with one set of blades and then go up to size and pull the same amount of pitch, and literally just swap them over, you will pull more current at the max pitch. So if you use the extra power that they give, you'll get a shorter flight time. But equally, if you don't use that extra power, they will be more efficient. And the other thing is the tail rotor will be working a bit harder. So you have to be a little bit more careful with the tail setup because you've got more torque, so it's more likely to blow the tail out.
Yeah.
Also, in general, with the 450 size helis, if they're saying it can use 325 blades and it can use 350s or 360 blades, in most cases, that's generally they go up to the 6S. So when you're running the 325 blades, they're running it on 3S, and the 350, 360 blades, they up it to 6S.
Yeah, this is the difference than the 450, yes.
Yeah, because I think if you're running 350s or 360s on 3S, you're really going to be pushing the motor and your batteries.
Yep.
Yeah. So so you're looking for a push up to 6S probably, and to be honest, 6S is a better way to go because it's more efficient because the current is your amperage is your enemy. More voltage means if you double the voltage, then you half the current for the same amount of power, and that makes everything just a little bit more efficient as well.
Yeah. So you essentially get your flight time back by going up with the voltage onto 6S.
Yeah. Next question, Dave. Have you got anything for us?
No, not really. No questions.
I have more questions.
Oh, you have more questions?
Go for it.
Go on, Daniel.
Yeah, this is my first flybarless helicopter, so...
We lost him.
Oh, we've lost him.
He'll be back.
Oh, we just lost him.
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I just lost network. Yeah, this is my first flybarless helicopter, and using a flybarless unit is MIVI bar.
Yep.
And for the other helicopters, I'm using Spectrum 200 with a satellite. But this one using just a satellite, so I don't need to put one more plastic box to my helicopter. But this affecting my range or nothing?
No, your range will still be the same.
So it's still full range with the satellite.
Yeah.
They have an options for put 2 satellites to the helicopter. So, but they in the manual they said I need to, if I'm using the bigger helicopter, I need to use 2 satellites.
Yeah, I mean, what you'll find is with the 450, you're never really going to fly far enough away to even endanger yourself going to the limit of range, because if you went that far, you wouldn't be able to see the helicopter. It would be just too small to see. Yeah, if you want extra security, put 2 satellites on. That's absolutely fair, and then you've got even less chance to go in that range. But the way Spectrum works is it's the actual satellite is the receiver, and then you've got the 2 satellites that go into the normal receiver on the Spectrum, and the normal receiver is just like a decoder for the satellites. It's the actual satellite that is the receiver. So when you're plugging that into your V-bar, your V-bar is acting as the decoder. Then same as if you plug it into any other make a fly-barless unit, that's just acting as the decoder. But yeah, 1 satellite will be absolutely fine. You'll never go out of the range with 1 satellite. I mean, on my 450s, I use a part flyer receivers, which has even less range than just 1 satellite, and I've never gone out of range on them. And I'll fly that away till I can't see it. So, the guys at the club do fly quite high. That's why I don't crash.
The other thing to with a smaller model, it's not just the range either. There's less model to get in the way of the aerials. So the trouble with 2.4 is because as the frequency goes up, it relies more and more on line of sight. So if you fly behind a building or something like that, you're more likely to lose signal. Now, the model itself can mask the signal a bit as well. But with a 450, because there's so little of it, the chances of it masking the aerial for any period of time enough to lose signal, even at a reasonable distance away from yourself, is so small that it's not even worth thinking about. And the extra weight is a far bigger problem.
Yeah, our flying field is an open pitch, so no buildings at all. And,
so
I think 1 mile is the next building for.
Just stick. You'll be fine on 1. Absolutely fine on 1.
I stick mine on behind the tail so that it's point. So you see it from both sides, rather than sticking it on 1 side of the frame. So I mean, it's very unlikely, but the carbon could block the signal. So I tend to put it just under the tail so you can see it from both sides.
Yeah, I just put here.
I do the same.
That's just So Daniel, where have you put yours? Show us again. I didn't quite catch that one.
Under the canopy.
Yeah, that's
you'll be fine. You've got an aerial sticking out beneath. You'll be fine with that one.
Yeah, that's cool. You'll be fine.
Yeah, nothing else. I just changed my DX6 side to the new DX6 because they have the DX9 gimbal and the backlight. This is the 2 things what I'm missing.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a nice radio. I like the new DX6i.
Yeah, I attempt to buy DX7S, and after I just read through in every forums from the States and in the UK and in the Hungarian forums, and everyone said it's the DX6 at the moment is a DX9 minus the channels and some switches, but they were free position switches, and I can program anything. It looks awesome, and the price range it's cool.
Yeah, I mean the helicopter these days with the flybarless. Sorry, Dave. The flybarless these days, everything, all the work is really done in the flybarless itself. The transmitter really doesn't do anything anymore, other than supply a bunch of channels that move around when you wiggle the sticks and click a couple of you need idle up. I mean, I use idle up 1 and throttle hold, and that's about it. Everything else is just straight through.
Yep. Even on my Nitro, I've got me 2 gimbals and 4 switches. That's all I need. 2 gimbals, 4 switches, and that'll fly my helis.
I'm a little bit lost and plan to buy a GR XG6 because the Fords are coming with the Minitax with telemetry system. But after I just changed my mind and choose the DX6i. DX6.
And then there's Lee with his gold-plated.
Is it gold-plated or is it just fuel?
Gold leaf.
No,
that's gold leaf.
It's actual real gold leaf.
Oh, real gold. Yeah, you purchased in Dubai?
It's correct radio.
No, I made it. I put the gold leaf on it. Nobody's going to have a DX8 like that, so I can never get it mixed up with anybody else.
Very true.
Any more questions? Dan, have you got any more for us?
Lee, anyone?
No?
Nope.
No questions.
No questions. And the audience have let us down today. Well, come on. We need some more questions, guys. And, right. So I want to talk a bit more about this F3.
Okay. Yeah, one question then. Anyone experienced the new flybarless system Spirit?
No.
Spirit.
No.
I've heard of it. I believe Chris CPOE's got one to test or something.
He has one on order.
Yeah, I think you're probably best keep an eye out on the CPO Hangout, Runa.
Okay.
Obviously, he's got one coming. But no, not personally, no.
I think it comes with a bailout system as well.
Mm-hmm.
It does. They licensed it from the Bavarian Demon folks.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but my fingers are never quick enough to hit throttle, let alone a bailout switch.
Right.
Yeah, I think I struggle with the bailout because I don't know whether I want to, because I just automatically just go for hold as soon as anything sounds a bit iffy, and then auto it if it's okay. And yeah, I think I'd probably struggle with going for a bailout instead of throttle hold. I'd probably do the wrong one or something stupid.
Well,
I hit everything. I hit trainer switch, aileron, DR, everything. Just pull them all at the same time.
Come all on the same. One of these.
Not normally when my helis are going in, they've gone in that quick. I haven't even got time to hit throttle hold. So it's like, oh, what did I do that for? Oh well.
I would like to try a system with a bailout and just how it works.
Yeah.
Never tried it before.
If you've got accuracy, then accuracy on, I think it's 1.3, they introduced the bailout on the Switch, so you can practice.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
I'm using Heli-X and I do have the real flight, but I don't like that one, so I'm using the Heli-X version 4 and version 5.
Yeah, I've got Heli-X as well.
Definitely have a look at accuracy. I think anybody that's here that's tried it, I mean, I know Kev and I are both beta testers. And Rachel, have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it. I think I'd need to own it before I really commented on it, to be honest. But I tend to use Helix as well, and Phoenix a little bit, but more Helix than anything. There's an Align 800 on it, which is absolutely superb to fly, and very true to the real one. So I just have a lot of fun on that. But yeah, I'd like to try accuracy. It's just another £70 I'd have to find. So you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
it's all money all the time, isn't it? And if you crash a bit, as I tend to, it's never cheap. So maybe if I stop crashing, I'll get to try it. But yeah.
Yes, no. See, the problem you've got is you're using the wrong simulator. It's a chicken and egg problem, isn't it? It's that if you use the right simulator, then you will stop crashing.
No, the problem I've got is I'm shit. There you go. If I get a
potty mouth.
yeah, sorry. Yeah,
If you say it, no one else can.
Yeah, that's true. But no, it's. I'm having a lot of trouble at the moment. Back to the transmitter thing with actual transmitter sticks. I've changed from flying finger and thumb to flying thumb only because I found with finger and thumb when I was doing TikToks, I was getting an interaction that I was putting in. My hand was moving through an arc, and now I find my thumb just comes off altogether. So I think transmitter choice is more about just switches and what it does. Really, it needs to be about how it feels. I like the DX9 at the moment, I must admit. I think that's a cracking layout. I can't afford to get one, but if I was going to get a transmitter, it'd probably be that, just because it suits me better.
No.
But
Have
I
you
think that's
have you
definitely a
held
consideration.
have you ever held an 8FG?
Sorry,
Have
what?
you ever an 8FG for Taba?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think I have. I had to go with somebody's 18, and do they do a 14?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a chap in our club that I've been buddy boxing him, and he's got those. The 18's nice, but it's like about $2,000, isn't it? Something
Yes,
mad.
it's about money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
it's like,
yeah.
On the subject of
Hello?
radios that are nice to fondle and feel, we're going down that road. Rachel's
Surprise!
Anyway,
So here we go.
right,
Graupner MZ24.
Another $2,000 radio.
No. 350 quid this radio. It's the top of the range Graupner. 350 quid. Comes with 2
Right.
receivers. It's actually really good value. A guy at the club he's just joined, a gentleman by the name of Andrew Bays, really into it, and I mean, he's got to have the best of everything. And he's got this radio, and it is so nice to hold in your hand. The switch spacing, the gimbals, everything, it just feels like the perfect radio in your hands. Granted, it's more complicated to program than a 14 or 18 MZ. I can't get my head around it whatsoever, but in your hand holding it, it just feels really nice. It's like the perfect weight, perfect size and shape, and switches are in the perfect place. Seriously, Rachel, just try and get hold of one and just have a feel of it. That might help. I mean, if you've got big fat sausage fingers like me...
I was going to say, hold up your hands, Kev.
What I've done recently,
There may be different there.
what I've done recently, Rachel, which might help is with your thumbs coming off, is I got these the rubber feet from a 500 skid.
Oh, okay.
And you just pop them on the end of your stick, and it gives you a real nice sticky end to the stick, so your thumbs don't slip off so much. And that works really well.
See, yeah, that's an interesting thing. That is. I mean, I've tried all sorts of different sort of stick ends, and they're sort of, the sharp ones are nice, but they never stay sharp, so you always end up sort of tweaking them a bit.
Yeah. So this is just easy. It just pops off. You've still got the sort of teeth on the middle to give you the grip, but then the sticky rubber on the outside. When you're pushing the stick to the limits, you still get the grip off the rubber. So I've only used it for about sort of 10 flights so far, but I really like it now.
And that stopped it slipping off the table.
Yeah, if it flips over.
Talking of 500s, I've obviously, as you're probably aware, I've recently acquired a T-Rex 500L Dominator. Now, historically, I am not an Align fan. I think that's probably fair to say. But
go on, spit it out. Go on.
I mean, I've had 2 or 3 flights, well, half flights of just tweaking the setup and trying to get it sort of dialed in, and I've not even had it inverted yet. Put it that way. But the build went pretty nicely, and it does build nice, and it's quiet. Yeah, the drivetrain is nice and quiet, and it was pretty easy to put together. A couple of little faux pas in my book that, in terms of sort of maintenance side of things, in terms of things like getting the boom mount out in order to change the tail drive gears in the front tail drive gears is a little bit tricky, to say the least. But on the whole, the cyclic servos, because it's a full combo, the cyclic servos that it comes with work. Okay, the tail servo, the jury's out on that. I'm still tweaking the tail setup. I'm not totally happy with it, but I don't know whether that's set up or the gyro or the servo at the moment. So jury's out there at the moment. But the blades work. The tail blades are carbon. It's got metal all over the place. It's carbon frames, and it's 500 quid. And with motor, speed controller, servos, gyro, all you add is a receiver and a battery, and a couple of connectors. So it for what you pay for it, for the average flyer, I'm struggling to find anything wrong with it.
And I'm guessing that comes with the G Pro then, that one.
Yeah.
That's the wrong one.
The G Pro, so far, as I say, I haven't had enough time on it yet to really sort of comment on how good it is. And you definitely 100% need the Bluetooth adapter for it, because you have to mount the gyro on the bottom plate under the boom, because the ESC lead isn't long enough to get under the main gear and then up onto the top tray. So that sort of masks the USB port for you to plug it into the computer. So you definitely need the Bluetooth adapter, and so you can program it, so you can set it up from your phone. Coming from the Vortex with the data pod, where you just plug it in and go beep 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 beep, beep halfway through the flight. You land it, go do a couple of changes, up the gains, whatever, and go and do a bit more flying again. So compare that to sort of dragging your laptop out, or in my case, pulling it inside and plugging it into my desktop. It's not terribly sort of easy doing it over USB, especially getting the plug in. This right angle USB cable has been invaluable. This is not the one it comes with. But if you look at what the average flyer does with a model, the average sports flyer, I'm struggling to justify spending any more, to be honest.
How was your setup time with the G Pro? Did it work? Yeah, it was easy to set up as the other common fiberless models in the market.
In terms of running through the initial setup, in terms of centering the servos and getting everything working in the right direction, I did it on the PC software, and it was really, really easy. It almost walks you through it. Not quite, but it almost just walks you through it. And the descriptions on the G Pro software are very good. Tells you what it all does. The default values, there are only two sets of default values. There's ones for 500 and up, so between 500 and 700, and less than 500. So 450. So the stock values for that came with it for the 500L, the gains are quite the stock gains are relatively low, so it wanders around a bit, but it flops. It just it's just a matter of spending. You don't take it out of the box, set it up, and go and fly it.
No,
you have to do some tweaking.
How was your first flight with it?
I had a bit of a low gain tail wag, and it wasn't a wag, it was a wave, just a slow wave, and the cyclic gain was a bit low. Other than that, fine.
So the first flights went well to tune it in, and was an easy way to go.
Yeah, it was. As I say, I took it, I powered it up, took it off, and it flew, and it sort of waved the tail around a little bit, and felt a bit soft and squishy on the cyclics, but it flew. There was no massive problems, no major issues. It took off, and there's no adjustment on any of the gear meshes, and they were all fine. Some of them were a bit tight, but that bedded in within the first couple of minutes. And what I do on the first flight of any model, even after a rebuild, after a crash, I will fly it for a couple of minutes, land it, and give it a check over and make sure that nothing's coming loose. Because if anything's going to come loose, it's generally within the first flight. If I have missed something. So I took it off, flew it, a couple of minutes, landed, checked it over, took it inside, upped the gains on everything, and went out and sort of. I could have quite happily done, a 3D fight on it with a slightly waggy tail.
Yeah.
It flew.
They've done something right since the 3G model then.
Yeah, it definitely works. It does definitely do the job, and in today's sort of climate where cost is an issue, it's hard to sort of. When I got the X5, I was pretty sure that the X5 was the ideal size for a budget fly.
Yeah.
But it is a really good model, and I love flying it. But the blade cost is the jump between the 500 size and the 520s is quite substantial. You're looking at sort of for a 500, which are 430s somethings, aren't they? And they're a good sort of. They're probably 2/3 the price of a good set of even a line blades. A line blade, 45 quid, 40 quid, something like that for the 525s.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the 430s are 33 quid or something, which is okay. It's only 10, 12 quid difference, but you add that up over a bunch of crashes, and that's 100 quid quite quickly. Which is another. So you basically get a free crash.
You know the answer. Stop crashing.
Yeah, do more sim time. Yeah, yeah, I know. It works out of the box. I purposely, sort of put it together as per the manual and went and flew it and to see how it would work. The stock stock link lengths on the swash plate and the blade grips are a long way out, quite a long way out. So there was, if you were, I think if you were a new guy coming along and gone and bought this kit and set it up, sort of you would still definitely 100% want someone to look over it. And I think that's the same with any model. You don't. You should be sort of getting some help from somebody local to help you set the thing up, because they do take some setting up. It does take some time and knowledge, which only comes with experience.
I checked this 550 kit, but I just find out my Forza for 200 quid with ESC and engine. Everything. So they coming with the fly balance mod system with 200 quid, everything including in the box. After I build it, and I just find out some special details. I will send pictures, but every linkage, it's just one screw. They have a barrel, and the mixer arms is just one screw, and everything is faced outside from the frame, so I can easily adjust every mechanical or set up the swash with one screwdriver. I think it's very well engineered case. I like it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Right, guys, it's been 2 hours. I think that's enough for anybody. I could certainly do with another beer. Thank you very much for coming, everybody, and hope that people that have been watching have found it interesting, and maybe you'll come along next time. And we've got room for 10 people total, so come along and have a chat and tell us about what you're doing and ask questions and tune in next time. So
definitely.
Thank you very much.
And a quick one, just before we go, I've just got to get one of our club mates, Gareth Eves, or Faz as we call him, get flying. Put that motorbike away and come flying and stop being a girl.
Right, and with that, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming and joining on the call, everybody, and see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.